doing okay. So I actually, so I was on my morning walk today and found a kitten on the side of the road that almost got hit by a car. And so I picked her up and took her home. And now we just dropped her off at this vet that my parents know. And she's going to take care of the little girl. Let me ask you this. What do you think is going to happen coming out of coronavirus? What do you think, like, how are you going to push yourself back into market? What do you think that's going to look like? What kind of time frame are you expecting?
I have no set time frame in mind because you have people that are trying to transition in the next 2 weeks, and then you have other people
Mhm.
talking about the fact that a vaccine won't be available for 16 months. And that
Yeah.
creates a fear mentality. And the longer we live in that fear and the longer we stay home, the harder it's going to be to reacclimate into society. And
Yeah.
that's really could be an issue if we don't proactively try to have that self-awareness now and do whatever we can to really take care of ourselves. So when the time comes that either the front line needs a replacement and we need to tap ourselves in, or we're really able to start, slowly getting back to the swing of things, we have to be ready for that and be in a good place so we can handle that transition.
As we taper off, there's going to be a large number of people who remain virtual workers, who remain remote. We're
Yeah.
going to see a lot of um, organizations. I don't want to say companies because I don't know if there'll be companies. They're just organizations of some sort that are going to be dedicated to preparation, education, and things to prevent um, our society from being blindsided the way it has.
Yeah, I think the fact that we're all realizing that we can work remotely and be effective in that capacity allows us, to not have to live on top of each other and not commute into a high stress, high anxiety city. We can do this from, the Poconos or down the shore, or if we want to really have that farm life, we could.
Go to
And
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, yeah, we could do really anything that we want because this has shown us that it's possible. My question is, because a lot of people don't understand the value of networking or why we spend our time meeting new people, and they also always tend
Mm,
to assume that you only network when you need something, like you need a job or you need
mm,
a recommendation. So what is the value in networking, and what's the value in networking across industries?
yeah, that's a great question. Before I answer that, I wanna mention that um, there is a difference between a good networking event and a bad networking event, right? So, at a bad networking event is where you're going to see a lot of those people that are just there for drinks or there to make friends, or there for a job, or there for non-business business partners, if you get my drift. And that's not to shame any of them in what they're doing. It's just that networking event is suboptimal in its results, right? Because I'm a serial entrepreneur. I have 3 businesses, and I can connect with a lot of people, most people, on any of those. But when someone's just like, I want clients or I need a job, it's just like, I can try to introduce you to people, but like there's no relationship here. So I don't even know you. I don't know if you're a good person or a bad person. Like I don't want to risk my reputation doing that, you know? Um, so when it comes to the value of networking, I'm operating under the assumption that we're at a good event that's valuable and has a bunch of good connections, right? So the value of networking is fundamental to business growth. And the reason I say that is because there's so many small businesses that work by word of mouth and referral basis. You have to build that connection up. You have to build your network out. And a great way to do that is with networking. Let me give you an example in my life. Before I moved to New York City, I was living in Dallas, Texas. And I had virtually no network because I wasn't an entrepreneur. I didn't care about that. I had just gotten out of college. I was in the aerospace industry. I loved my job. But then once I moved to New York City, I was like, well, I don't know anybody. And I've become more of an entrepreneur. I'm turning my life around. And so it was great to get those introductions to people that really are genuine, that want to help, provide value, get you connected so you succeed and work together. Right. So one thing that's really big for me, and this is a term that I heard in BNI, is networking is great for making lifelong professional friends, right? So it's not there with the intention to go get a beer with someone. It's we're building a professional relationship. And as that goes on, hey, maybe we'll go grab a beer together, right? So I'm very close with a lot of the people in my network. I gain a sense of satisfaction. I get my dopamine rush from helping other people because that's what makes me happy. That's where I find fulfillment and joy, because that's my purpose on this earth, is to help other people. And so by fulfilling that purpose, I'm making myself happy and I'm getting everything that I need in life. Even if I don't have the most money in the world, or if I don't have all the cars or whatever, like I'm perfectly content being myself, and I find my contentment in helping people.
Okay. I did want to commend you for the networking event that we don't talk about, but I appreciated that you came up to me in that moment, because obviously we knew each other on the platform and had met that one time. But you recognized me and you just made me feel so welcome in a space where I felt really out of place, to be honest. And I know that you were doing that with everyone there, very intentional in your approach and in your action. So I think that that really is the testament and supporting evidence of what you're talking about, in the sense that we're here to make those connections, build those relationships. And it's selfishly selfless, where you're just like there to make people feel comfortable, in my mind, and then that's how you get your happiness in return. So it is a win-win-win.
I'm just meeting the friends I already had that I didn't know I had. That's how I look at it. Like, everyone's my friend. They may not like me, but I'm still their friend. And here's one thing to go back on that, with networking events. There is a unique balance that needs to be struck between building a relationship and rapport and just handing out business cards, right? I want to talk to you for long enough to know that I want to talk to you again.
Yeah.
I'm not here to have an hour-long conversation. I'm not here to have a heart-to-heart. I'm here to like kind of feel like dip my toe in the water, be like, you're a cool person. I think we could do business together. Let's exchange numbers and we'll follow up later where we can have a heart-to-heart or a one-on-one or whatever you want to call it. But at the same time, like, just handing your business cards out is not the way to go 99 times out of 100.
Right.
At the same time, like, you don't want to spend 20 minutes per person. I would usually say that like 10 minutes is probably the max. That way at a 2-hour event, you get 12 people. I try to cut it down. Sometimes, like, there's definitely exceptions. There's some people where it's just like, oh no, I'm talking to them for a while. It's okay. And then there's others where it's just like, this ain't going to work out. It was nice meeting you, but I'm going to go find someone else to talk to. And I say it a lot nicer than that, obviously. But I mean, you just got to be able to gauge it, man. Like, sometimes, like, you may have great connections. You may have all the connections I need. But if we're not connecting and like, we're not getting along, like, I can't see your connection base. I can only see you. And if you're a reflection of your connection base, I probably don't want to know your connections. There's got to be a unique balance.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the balance that often comes with a decision to be a C-level executive or of a high-level company, or in any of the Fortune 50s, 100s, 500s, whatever you want to say, part of the deal is like, you're probably going to have a bad work life. I mean, a bad home life, just because you're not there very often. Right. And that just echoes that work-life balance is important. And you can definitely be Jeff Bezos and have a great home life. You've just got to make sure that you're balancing the time right. Make sure that you have people in your corner working with you, working for you, helping you along the way, because we can't do it alone. That's one very important thing. That also goes into the importance of networking. You've got to find people you can work with that will help you grow. Because otherwise, like, you're gonna be a statistic of failed business.
Right. That's so true. Garrett, I'm so glad we did this. This was awesome.
Likewise, me too. I enjoyed it. It was a very good conversation.